welcome to the World Cup vlog. I just so happened to document one of the best experiences of my life, and I'd love to share it with you guys. As I'd assume practically everybody knows, the World Cup is happening in the USA right now, and it's absolutely incredible. Not only does that mean I get to experience an actual World Cup in person and not just virtually, but this is just so cool to me that the World Cup is hosted here in North America, and many people are coming in from all over the world just to watch the World Cup. This is how we got from our house to being at the stadium. We left our house early in the afternoon and drove to the hotel that we booked for the night. After we got checked in and dropped off our bags and whatnot and finished getting ready just a little bit, we booked an Uber to come and take us to the World Cup stadium. We figured finding parking on our own car and getting in and getting out would just be really hard, so we just decided to get an Uber and drop us off to make things much easier. Even with an Uber, the walk to the stadium was around 20 minutes because everything around the stadium grounds was pretty much barricaded over. When I tell you guys that we got to the stadium grounds at 4:30 is actually crazy because the gates opened at 6 p.m. so we were just there for an hour and 30 minutes before the gates opened, and we were just waiting outside the stadium. Although saying it out loud makes it feel like a really long time, it honestly didn't feel that long because we got to know some Austrian fans who flew in from Austria to get to watch their country play in the World Cup, and the weather outside was actually really nice. If it wasn't just a little bit too breezy for me, I would say it'd be perfect weather. Getting through the line to come in was actually so easy, and I was actually so surprised how fast it took because the security was so quick and easy, and just to get in, you just scan the ticket on your phone through the FIFA app and you just get to come in. When coming in, there were these people handing out FIFA lanyards with badges that you could scan, and you could create a FIFA profile or a FIFA ID, and it wasn't required, but it was actually really interesting and fun and cool. Looking back, I'm surprised that I missed the pop-ups at the front because they had all these like pop-ups set up with Home Depot, Coca-Cola, and especially since we arrived so early, we literally would have gotten no lines, but we just like sped past that because we were so focused on heading to the seats, we completely forgot that it was there. Nevertheless, it was such a cool and surreal feeling to come to the stadium when there's like nobody there. It was such an interesting experience, and I felt like I was behind the scenes of the World Cup. This early, not all, but some of the food vendors were already set up and working, and you really couldn't miss them because they were practically everywhere, which made it super easy to get snacks or food. After checking out the stadium view, we went under the bleachers behind the back where there was bathrooms, and then they also had like little TV set up. A bunch of them, like every single one of them actually, was playing the very first match that Messi played. I forget who it was against, but yes, we got to see all three of Messi's goals, his entire hat trick. Since we arrived so early before the game, we just explored the entire stadium, and it was so cool because the place was so big and we got to go to all the different stories and stuff. Prior to the game, they were also putting a bunch of people on the Mega TV, so me and my brother kept trying to get on. Since the match started at 9 p.m, we were there for a few hours, which gave us so much time to do stuff, and I honestly can't remember not even one bored minute while we were there. We were exploring, I was taking content, and then we were trying to get on the Megatron, so it was honestly just really fun, especially since the match hasn't even started yet. The view from around the stadium was actually really pretty as well. It was just filled with palm trees and such a California experience. My brother was wearing his club soccer jersey, some jean shorts, and then some black Adidas Sambas, and then I was wearing my Brandy Melville white shirt, which is my favorite white shirt. I love this shirt so much. And then I had my blue jeans from Abercrombie Kids, which are super comfortable as well, and I was really going for comfort, but I also wanted to have a cute outfit. I also wore my gray on-quads, which are also super cute but also super comfortable, so I really optimized both here. I don't like wearing my glasses too often, but I did decide to wear them for the World Cup because I obviously want to see everything and take everything in its full 100%, and they are these gray Warby Parker glasses. They're like sheer gray and kind of see-through and translucent, so I really like them. And as for my hairstyle, I just decided to go with straight hair because you could really never go wrong with that. Once we got to the top of the stadium, we realized that there was a FIFA store there. There was like a lot of FIFA merch and Austria merch and Jordan merch, and then we saw these little World Cup trophies, and my brother has been wanting one since the 2022 Qatar World Cup, so this was really such a full circle moment because he was gonna buy one at some point, but he never ended up getting one, so this is really great that he finally got to get one. And then we also got some Austria merch because I forgot to mention, we are going to be cheering for Austria this World Cup because it just felt right. We got to meet some of the fans, and since we weren't fans of either country yet, we decided to choose Austria. And to be authentic, we got one of the scarves that said Austria on it, World Cup 2026, and it's also just some World Cup merch, and I was so excited for the new merch that we got from the FIFA store. Also, since Visa is one of the World Cup sponsors, if you use a Visa card to buy any merch from the FIFA store, it gives you 10% off, which was really nice. Coming early was definitely the right move as someone who wanted to take everything in, because not only was the peak lighting good and I got to experience the daytime stadium, but also once it got dark, it was really nice, and it was just a great experience to be able to walk around and experience absolutely everything that we wanted to before the game started. We've already been at the stadium for a few hours. It is now currently 8:30 p.m. and everybody's starting to get to their seats. The sun is setting and the players are warming up. The match officially starts at 9 p.m. so everybody has about 30 minutes to get settled before kickoff. I still can't believe that when we got here it was still sunny and now it's getting dark. This is one of FIFA's few night games this year, so I'm really excited to be attending one. Although it's not hot and sunny, it's definitely not cold either. It's a little bit breezy, but I feel like it's not so extremely cold, probably since we're surrounded by a lot of people in this stadium. Anytime that I looked up at the sky, there was always something really pretty going on, like the sunset or just in general. The sky looked really pretty and clear. Since the stadium was not too far from an airport, there was constantly planes flying overhead, and I wonder what their view looks like from up above. At this point, the sun was almost done setting and everything around us was lit up. Although I don't remember if all these lights were there earlier when it was still bright outside, I just remember that it was very lit up and nicely lit, so we could see everything and everything was very bright. But then they took out the national flags and then they sung the national anthems, and it was really pretty. The people who bring out the flags every match never fail to amaze me because they always look so perfect. All the players and staff started coming out at this point, and it was really cool to see them all lined up, although I'm pretty sure it was a lot cooler to see it on television because they get all these different angles. But the in-person experience was definitely something else because there's a lot of things that they don't quite show you when you're on TV and then when you're in person. Not getting all the close-up angles that I normally get on TV was definitely a worth it trade-off because the atmosphere and experience and view of this entire stadium in this match was just so incredible, and I would want to do this for every single game if I could because it was honestly such a vibe, and I just really loved this in-person game. I just love looking at the stadium, seeing all the people, seeing the sounds, hearing everything, and just truly seeing everything raw and not filtered through the TV. Austria started off the match strong and they got a goal within the first half. I have this World Cup hot take, which I feel like honestly shouldn't be a hot take, but everybody has been hating on the hydration breaks, and I can kind of see where they're coming from, but also not, because I actually really like them. It gives me some time to go and make myself a matcha when I'm watching at home or go to the bathroom, and it's just very flexible. But then also in person, they do these really cool activities because during the hydration break, we got to take out our phones and then we scan this QR code on the screen, and then everybody's phone lights keep flashing into this like beat, and it was really cool, and it is such an interesting experience, which I feel like we probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise, and especially since it's a nighttime game, we got an opportunity to do this. This is also one of those experiences that isn't really showed on TV, or at least I haven't seen it on TV, and it's just something that happens during the hydration break, or as some others call it, the ad break. And yeah, I just thought it was a really cool experience that I wanted to show you guys because you really don't see this on TV if you're watching at home. Actually, now that I'm trying to remember, I feel like this happened during halftime, not during hydration break, but still, I still feel like the hydration break is something that we should keep long term. In the second half, Jordan caught up with Austria with a goal of their own, and the stadium, when they did the decibels, who was cheering louder, apparently there was more Jordan fans in the stadium. And also when we voted on who we would think would win, the Jordan also got the win for that as well, but probably because there was more fans in the stadium from them. But Austria did not fail to disappoint because right after they ended up scoring a goal, and I feel like I thought that there were so many Austrian fans because they had this big Austria section, and a lot of the people around me were also Austrian fans, although we did have a few bandwagon fans around us too, so I don't know if that changes the statistics a little bit.
The total attendance for this match is 68,500.
In the last minute, in the final hour, will he finish this with this PK?
Another goal for
And And with the third goal, Austria secured their win completely, and everybody was really excited. I feel like we were less excited than we were for the first or the second goal, because we kind of already knew that Austria was going to win anyways, because their style of play was honestly just better than Jordan. Just no hate on Jordan at all. I just was really proud of Austria, and I feel like they did so good, and we definitely chose the right team to vote for. We left the stadium a lot later than most people were leaving, just for the vibes of the place. This was such an exciting experience and definitely the highlight of my summer. When we were leaving, we tried to take in every single moment of it, and we left on such a good winner's high. All the Austrian fans, everybody was just happy and celebrating. We were roughly 400 seats away from a full sold-out stadium, so there were so many people leaving. It was almost like a stampede, and it was really hard to get an Uber back. The Ubers from the stadium were $70, so we did walk about 20 minutes to get an Uber back to our hotel room. But it was such an incredible experience. World Cup 2030, I can't wait.